What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Freddy and Friends. Today, I got someone that I've known a very long time, 15, maybe even 20 years. We go way back. I wanted to bring him on because he's got a great story, ups and downs, a competitor, an entrepreneur, one of the top and most prolific real estate agents in Miami, has the #1 real estate website in Miami, has had that for a long time, triathlete, and bodybuilder, a guy that knows his shit. Please welcome my man, Lucas Lechuga.
Thank you, Freddie. Thank you for the warm welcome, and it's great to be here. On the flight over here from Miami, I was thinking the same thing, man. Man, we go way back. Not only that, but we have so many commonalities that we could probably do 3 or 4 of these podcast episodes, and it would be a completely different topic each time.
Well, we've been talking nonstop for the last 24 hours, so
Yeah.
if we run out of shit to talk about, no, it's not going to happen.
No, it's not gonna happen.
We haven't shut the fuck up for like 2 days straight.
Exactly.
But you look great, brother. You look
Thank
like
you.
you.
So do you.
You look like you ate Arnold Schwarzenegger. Stencil, watch he doesn't rip your fucking arms off. I mean, this dude's like super jacked, but kudos to you, man. I know how much work you put in this whole thing.
Likewise.
Let's just do like a proper intro. I mean, you have. Let's start with the real estate. I mean, you have been in the game for almost 2 decades. Well, 2 decades you've had your license.
Yeah, actually,
But,
I just celebrated my 20th year just recently.
Yeah. Out of the gate, though, you created something really special in the Miami market. And, you know, I lived in Miami many years. You showed me Miami back in 2008 when it was just kind of starting to, you know, development was happening. And you had this site that you launched called Miami Condo Investments. Yep. And I think it took some while, but you started tracking, man, and then it just blew up. I mean, you have the #1 real estate site for housing in Miami. Yeah. Take me there.
So I really started it started small, and then just little by little grew it. And so when I got my license in 2005. I came from Chicago. I graduated college from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign in 2000. I was working on the trading floor at the CBOE, the Chicago Board of Options Exchange.
Yeah.
So I was an equity options market maker at the CBOE for 4 years. Did really well, had a lot of success with that. And it was surprising because I was working for a small firm, and everybody that got hired there, with myself as the exception, were from like Ivy League schools, like really top schools. So I was out of U of I. I kind of got teased in the beginning, to be honest with you, because they're like, "Who's this guy?"
Yeah.
And but I was smart. I was most importantly, I didn't let anybody get in my head. I was working out back then, even then. So I had even though I'm short, I'm 5'7" on a good day, really like 5'6" and a half. But I always had a good physique. I was really good about working out. 5 to 6 times a week.
Yeah.
And so when I did go up to become a trader, I didn't let anybody talk smack to me. Because like you're in a trading pit, and eventually those guys become like family to you. But some of so I was like, to back up a little bit. So out of those guys that we were like in a graduating class, so there was, I don't know, maybe about 8 to 10 of us. And I think I was the second to last to go up to become a trader. And the top guys were some of the most brilliant guys, some of the guys from like University of Chicago rather, Stanford, top colleges in the USA. Yeah. And, brilliant guys, but a lot of times when they went up to become traders, they weren't good traders because they didn't have the street smarts. Like they didn't know, like there was one guy that literally the other traders in the pit, because when a new trader entered a pit, tried to break into a pit, it was very difficult because those guys don't want you there because you're taking a pizza out of their out of their pocket.
Sure.
So they'll do everything in their power to intimidate you and get you the hell out of there. So they'll swear to you, they'll tell you, get the fuck out of here, shut your mouth, all that stuff. So there was one guy that went up, the very first guy, he was from the University of Chicago, and everybody thought he was going to kill it. They're like, man, this guy's brilliant. He's going to become one of the top traders for the firm. He didn't do anything. And people started shadowing him, like, what's he doing wrong? Like, why isn't he breaking in? Like, why isn't he making money? It's because he wasn't opening his mouth. The traders were telling him, shut the fuck up. And he literally would shut the fuck up because he was so scared that they were going to beat him up. I came in the second to last trader, And I told everybody in my firm, I'm like, I'm going to get on the first trade of the day. Because if the way it works without open outcry, if you're first, they can't cut you out.
Okay.
But if you're second or third, they could literally take the whole pie and you get nothing.
Yeah.
So if you're not the quickest, you don't have an option. If they want to cut you out, they'll cut you out. So I'm like, I'm going to get on the very first trade of the day. That way I get the hard part out of the way.
Sure.
And I did. Sure enough, I got on the first trade. I was like, I got to do it. Like, I got to be super quick. Yeah. Got on the first trade. And then after that, they were like, who is this guy? Is he new? Like, they were like kind of puzzled. Like, how did he get on the first trade? And then by lunchtime, they're like, dude, this guy's already been on 4 or 5 trades already. Like, so they kind of like, I kind of broke in. And then, later on, they started giving me shit. And I'm like, let's take it outside.
Wow.
If you want to talk shit to me, let's take it outside. And so everybody kind of backed down. So I broke in, not because I was the smartest, but because I didn't let anybody intimidate
You're from
me.
the streets of Chicago, so you had a little bit of grit to you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say I'm from the streets of Chicago. I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, but middle-class family.
Yeah,
it's funny because looking back at it, I'm like, man, maybe I was even lower middle class because the rich people in my neighborhood, I go back there now. Back then, as a kid, I'm like, those guys live in mansions. I go back there now. I'm like, those are just regular homes.
Well, I didn't know until I met my wife. Like, we didn't have cable until I was fucking 20. So
it's crazy.
I guess I was in the really low tier.
When you're a kid, though, you don't know any better because all your friends are in the same tier.
Yeah, you're happy. Yeah,
you're happy. You have a roof over your head. You don't know any better. You don't know what's out there.
Yeah.
Now with social media, it's a different story.
For sure.
I kind of feel sorry for some of these kids.
It's tough
we'll
coming
touch
up
upon
now.
that. Upon that later.
Way different. But that didn't work out for you. I mean, it wasn't you.
So back to that. So I was very successful, but then I was also a party boy because
that's right.
I came from a middle class family. I wasn't making any money, or I wasn't given any money as a kid.
Sure.
So all of a sudden, and even in college, I had to work and have a part-time job or whatever, and go to school. So I didn't ever have disposable income. So all of a sudden, I'm making good money.
Yeah.
I'm going shopping. I'm going to bars. I'm living the life because I'm like, finally. But I didn't know how to control it.
Got a taste of that paper. And
I didn't know any better. I'm just like, you know what? This money's always going to be around. Mm-hmm. If anything, I'm going to be making more and more money. Yeah. Technology changed, make a long story short. So everything back then, the options were expressed in fractions. So there was huge margins on each side of the trade.
Right.
Then everything started going down to pennies. That trading floor doesn't exist anymore because everything went electronic.
Sure.
So, but it became very, very difficult to make money. I mean, back in the day, you could lose $1 million on a trade, and then by the end of the year, you'll still make a profit because the margins were so big. Yeah. So anyway, I ended up basically partying my way out of that job. I ended up, I couldn't make it back. I got. Again, the technology changed. The margins started getting tighter. It became more difficult to make money. Yeah. And then I ended up losing my job. And I was like, what am I going to do? At the time, the economy, this is 2004, the economy wasn't great. Yeah. I ended up looking for some jobs in New York, some in Miami. And my manager of that firm had just come back from Miami. He was like, you know what? You should put in for a job in Miami. He's like, you've never been there, but it's so you. He's like, you're going to love it there. So on a whim, I just put in for some jobs in Miami. I ended up getting a day trading job. It got me down to Miami. Obviously we're in LA right now, but got me down to Miami, and I hated that day trading job, to be honest with you, because it was so slow. I mean, being in the pit, there's so much adrenaline, and the days would go by super fast. And you're talking about making or losing tens of thousands of dollars in these trades, and when you're day trading, if I lose $200, $300, it's like, oh, I'll let it ride. Like I didn't have the discipline for day trading because I was so used to making big money or losing big money. And so I ended up getting bored with the day trading job.
Sure.
And at the time, my mom was like, why don't you look into real estate? Like, why don't you get into real estate? I'm like, no, I don't want to become a sales. Like, I hate sales. I'm like, I don't want to be one of those dirty salesmen, And so I frowned upon sales jobs. Sure. She's like, you know what? It's the way you look at it. Don't look at it as a salesperson. Look at it as you're educating these buyers. And I said, oh, you know what? That's a good way to take it.
Mom's a smart man.
Yeah. And that was kind of the whole reason why I started the blog. So I'm like, okay, you know what? So I got my real estate license. I ended up starting my real estate blog a few years later. And I was telling you earlier today, when I moved to Miami, I was completely broke. I mean, again, I was partying a lot. I was shopping.
You burned that
money.
I
didn't save any money, so I moved to Miami broke. was living in a little studio off Collins Avenue in South Beach.
Yeah.
And got the day trading job. So the day trading job, they told me up front, like, you're not going to make any money for at least 6 months because there's like a training period. So again, I had to live broke, like bare bones for 6 months. Yeah. Figured even if I stay here for another 6 months, I'm still not going to make money because it's to be pennies. So ended up getting my real estate license. I took my mother's, I took her advice and ended up getting my real estate license. But again, I didn't have any money. So most real estate agents, when they get licensed, they have money for marketing.
You need money to market. I mean, even then, you need
to get your name out
collateral,
there.
something you have to
or you need
make
network.
something. Yeah.
And I didn't have
none of it.
I wasn't married with a spouse that had connections or anything like that. So I'm like, what am I going to do? So I started looking at my options. Actually, I read a really good book about marketing, and it was all about, you need to get your name out there. You need to become that name for when somebody's having a conversation and they tell their friends, hey, I'm looking to move, that person they're talking to refers you because you're the only name that they remember. So I was like, wow. Yeah. I'm like, I'm going to start a blog. And this is 2007. Blogs were just starting to take off. Yep. But these were like technology blogs. Nobody really were, like, there were a few real estate blogs, but mainly in New York. Yeah. There's nothing in Miami. Yeah. I mean, a few, like small, very small ones. So I started one. And again, it was completely free. Like I started on WordPress.com, which is a free platform. Sure. Started with that for like 6 months. I was very consistent. I was writing at least one blog post a day, and I got a great following. And in 2007, this is leading up to the bubble.
The bubble and also the condo boom in Miami, which started because that's how we met. Because we definitely found you through that blog. We started. We were in Palm Beach at the time. We wanted to move to Miami. There was new construction happening around that time, and you came up. There was another guy came up. I don't even know if he's still in the game, but I remember, and like your thing at that time just had it really concise and succinct information that, all right, these are the properties to look at, and we headed down there, and I guess we met up with you, but it was the only way to find stuff efficiently.
No, well, in the beginning, in the early years, I didn't even have properties on my blog. It was just strictly a blog where I shared information, and again, it was leading up to that big bubble that collapsed. And so like that happened in like 2008, 2009. I started my real estate blog in 2007. Yeah. And I started hinting like, hey, like these prices are not sustainable. Yeah. And I started writing about short sales and foreclosures and all that in 2008. Yeah. And I started getting quoted by like the Wall Street Journal when all the stuff started imploding, and they started they needed sources for when they were covering the Miami real estate market. So they would reach out to me. I started getting links from all these big publications like the Wall Street Journal, Financial Times, all those big guys, and like ABC News or CBS News. Yeah. And then I started getting business from it. So people were like, wow, this guy really knows his stuff about the real estate market. Yeah. And actually I had a broker at the time, and he's like, why are you talking about foreclosures and short sales and talking about how the market's going to implode and all this stuff? And I'm like, because I'm establishing trust.
That's right.
And he's like, I'm like, when the market does turn, it might take 2, 3 years, 4 years, whatever it might be, they're going to turn to me because they're like, hey, that guy told us not to buy when the market was terrible or when it was like at the tip top.
You were in it from the long haul out of the gate, which is some kind of foresight that you had, obviously, because most people would have
And I remember what the broker told me at the time. He's like, you're not going to be around
you're toast.
To receive the fruits of your labor on the back end, like you're not going to be around. And I'm like, so I was though, because like little by little, I was getting business from the blog, and I would reinvest that into the web, the website. So I would start to add properties in neighborhoods, buildings. So I think by 2010, I probably only had like 50 buildings, maybe like 5 different neighborhoods in South Florida. Yeah. And then little by little, just adding more and more and more. Yeah. 2014. I relaunched the website from scratch. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to completely do it completely from scratch and make it more user-friendly, add more neighborhoods. Yeah. So 2014, I like to tell people I took a complete year off where all I did was devote myself to the website, like building this brand new website. I mean, it was MiamiCondoInvestments.com, but I built it from scratch and it had a whole different design. And like if you look at my social media for 2014, I really don't have any personal photos there because I wasn't enjoying life. I literally sacrificed that year of life. Yeah. And if you talk to I think Elon Musk has a really good quote of, if you really want to make it in life, sacrifice a year, 2 years of your life, and you'll you'll be rewarded so greatly, you know?
Yeah,
And I think a lot of people don't want to do that.
No, nobody wants to do that.
No,
And
I didn't want to do it, but I kind of had to do it.
I think it's. I don't know that you even know you're doing it, but it just happens if you're
Yeah.
really putting your head down and working on your business.
And if you really have the heart behind it, like
Yeah.
I really loved.
Yeah.
I still love my website. I mean, I love
Yeah.
building that.
Yeah.
And we were talking about earlier about that. I don't really. I still don't look at myself as a salesperson. Like I'm not. I'm a top producing real estate agent in Miami, but I don't consider myself one of the best salespeople.
Sure.
I consider myself one of the best lead generators.
Yeah.
And,
Oh,
and
for
that's
sure.
why I'm so successful.
For sure.
And I was telling you earlier, if there were two salespeople, myself and another real estate agent, that
Yeah.
we both got 10 leads, that person might close 7 or 8 of them. Maybe
Yeah.
I only close 3.
Yeah.
But the difference is I'm going
More
to be getting a
leads.
lot more leads
More
in the
leads,
long
baby.
run.
Yeah.
So it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
You know, the
and
reason
so
why
you
I'm-
just hire better salespeople.
Exactly. So now I have a team. I have,
Yeah.
I think it's either 8 or 9 agents on my team.
Incredible.
So I
Yeah.
let them do all the sales. I mean,
Yeah.
and I was telling you, by the end of this year, I don't even want to touch sales next year, starting next year, because I'm building this
Absolutely.
mobile app, which it's going to be a real estate app, but it's
Yep.
going to be more
Yep.
a marketing platform. You know, maybe we could go into that in a different podcast, but because I haven't launched it yet, but it's going to be more of a media agency is what I'm, or a media platform, I should say, for condo developments and such. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean that's going to be a whole different revenue stream for me, but I'm still going to keep, you know, obviously the team, and they're going to do all my sales. But
Yeah.
I really want to, in the years to come, really focus on building that side of the business.
Knowing you for so long, I mean, you're a testament to, like, you know, I tell people this all the time because, you know, Jacqueline and I have built this thing, and it doesn't just go from 0 to 100, man.
No.
It's mostly like 0 to fucking 20 for most of the time. And then finally, like, it starts to track.
Mm-hmm.
How did you deal with all those tough years and all the, you know, the tough times? Like, what was your mentality?
I don't even think it goes 0 to 20. I think it goes like
Some
0 to 10,
exact-
then back to 5,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
maybe up to
Yeah,
7.
20 is
and
an
back
exaggeration.
to 4, and then like back to 12. Like it's
rough.
crazy.
It's rough.
You know,
I always tell
not
people,
a
it's like,
straight
if you're not, like, you know, and I think, like, social media and just the general temperature of,
Mm-hmm.
of business out there and what's being told to people, it's like, you could do this and this and this. And
Yeah.
everybody's always telling people to get in the real estate, which I hate that. I think it's so stupid. Don't get into things that you know nothing about.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter if it's real estate, whatever it is, right? Like, it takes a long time.
It does.
You need 10 years
Yeah,
and
no.
more to
The
really
first
build a
5
business.
years, even with the website going, the first 5 years were difficult, like really difficult.
yeah.
Where I had a lot of setbacks. So I started the blog in 2007. At the end of that year, I think it was either end of 2007, 2008, I got sued by a condo developer for $25 million.
It's awesome.
Fortunately, I didn't have $25 million.
Of course.
And it all got settled, but you know, honestly, it was the best thing that ever happened to me because that blog blew up. It was on the homepage of AOL. Remember AOL? I mean,
No such
doesn't
thing
even
as,
exist anymore.
There's no such
but-
thing as bad press.
Yeah, no, they say that, and it's true. And I remember for like the first 5 days of that lawsuit, I was a mess. And then one of my friends called me.
I
and they're
remember
like,
that. I remember you going through that. Yeah.
Dude, it was really hard because my brokerage had to let me go. They were owned by Berkshire Hathaway, and they're like, hey, we need to completely, even though we agree with you,
Yeah.
we don't think you did anything wrong. We have to disassociate ourselves with you.
Yeah.
The person that was in charge of the brokerage had just hired me because of my blog.
Yeah.
They really believed in what I was doing.
Yeah.
And then literally a month or two later, after this whole lawsuit came out, they're like, she was crying on the phone. She's like, I really hate to let you go,
Yeah.
but we have to because the people upstairs are telling me that I need to let you go.
Yeah.
So, but they're like, she's like, this is going to be the best thing that happened to you because tonight you're going to be on the news.
Yeah.
And you're going to be able to tell your story. Because
Yeah.
if you were still working for us, we'd have you on, like, you can't discuss this, you know, until the lawsuit's over.
Yeah.
So she's right. I think it was CBS News, like local news, not national.
Picked it up, yeah.
They picked it up. They interviewed me, and I told my story. And the way their angle was, you know, this is David and Goliath's story. That Goliath is the developer,
Yeah.
and here's this small fry real estate agent, you know, that has this innocent blog that's like
Yeah.
telling it like it is, and that's
Yeah.
what it was. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I was writing the truth. I'm like, we're in this overheated market that's about to implode, and it's about to collapse.
Always telling the truth about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and there were all these buildings in 2008 that were about to be delivered in 2009 as well.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I had this lawsuit, and I was a mess the first week. And I remember one of my friends called me. They're like, "Why are you such a mess?" I'm like, "Dude, I have this fucking lawsuit for $25 million."
Yeah.
Like, Lucas, do you have $25 million?
Right.
Like, no.
Yeah,
And
so
you're fine.
What are they going to get?
What are they going to do to you?
You know, you're not
And I'm
really.
like, shit, you're right.
You when you start when you're building a business and actually when lawsuits start to come in, you know you're on the right track, actually.
Yeah, no, that's true.
You're really starting to grow. It sounds whacked, but like when you start getting sued, like there's okay, we're on to something here in a weird way, but it's true.
No, it's
you're growing.
completely true.
You're growing.
Yeah. It means you're on somebody's radar.
You're on somebody's
right.
Yeah, I mean, somebody's always going to sue you once you start to get successful. I mean, it's just the way it is.
So talking about setbacks, I mean, so that was the first of 3 lawsuits that I've been in.
Yeah.
All business related.
Yeah.
And in each one of those were setbacks, obviously, because it's
They
not
suck.
even the money
Yeah.
that goes to the attorneys.
No.
It's the energy.
No, it's the energy until you have enough money to just put the team on it.
But even so, I mean, you're
in
still
the beginning, it's rough.
digging through emails, emailing your attorney, getting on conference calls and all that stuff. I mean, it's just it's a huge waste of energy.
It's a huge waste of energy. It's terrible. I know.
It is. So, I mean, it is what it is. So anyway, so that whole lawsuit happened. It got my name out there, though.
Sure
I
did.
blew up. My website blew up. I got a lot of links, like overnight.
Yeah.
Because that lawsuit was the first time where a blogger got sued. Like, not a real estate blogger, but any blogger got sued for what they said.
Yeah, it was big news at that time.
It was huge news because it was like, okay, are bloggers held to the same integrity as a journalist, or are they just
It was before they
public
were
people?
Yeah,
You know, like what are they? Like, it was a gray area.
It was before influencers, basically. Like kind of before you could really be an influencer.
And I got lucky because the brokerage that let me go, they had, like all brokerages have E&O insurance. So that's errors and omissions
E&O,
insurance.
of course.
In case you mess up on a contract.
Of course.
And when I got sued, they're like, hey, our insurer, I think it was Chubb Group.
Chubb's a big E&O.
They're like, they're going to cover you,
Yeah.
but it's a gray area. Let's try to settle this as quickly as possible because who knows, next month they might be like, you know what, blogging's not covered. You're on your own, which they could have. Because really, that insurance is meant for like if you mess up as an agent on a contract and it costs like a homeowner, like a seller or buyer money, then the insurance kicks in.
Yeah.
But for blogging, it was like, well, does it cover or does it not?
It's a gray area.
So I got covered. I didn't have to pay a single penny out of pocket, thank God. I got huge publicity from it, free publicity.
Yep.
At the very end of the day, I think it ended up lasting about a year. The developer kept coming back with like he wanted me to take out like a billboard or something to apologize, and I'm like, I don't have that money. I was like, still at this time, I was still pretty broke.
Yeah.
So I ended up settling for like I had to write a public apology on my blog post, which again cost me zero. You know? He just wanted to say he apologized, he was in the wrong.
And then you buried it. Who cares?
Yeah, I buried it. But I walked away with a shit ton of links, backlinks from huge websites.
Absolutely.
Like thousands of links. So that pushed up my ranking on the website for Monumental Investments. So that was, again, the best thing that happened, even though it sucked going through it, but it really elevated my website from maybe the second page of rankings to the first, like number 1 spot because of all those backlinks. So that's when I started learning about SEO. And I'm like, oh, that's what I need. I need more backlinks. And I need to write more. And the more I blog, the more content I produce, I'm going to get more and more backlinks. So, and then I started learning about, I mean, there's a lot more involved with SEO.
Sure.
But that's what got me. I do consider myself an SEO expert now because I've learned so much along the way about it. And
absolutely, yeah.
You know,
you have the
meta titles,
numbers,
meta descriptions, all that stuff, how to optimize your posts and all that stuff, how to optimize your pages. So, and now, like, well, during COVID, I think you started with the intro that my website's the number 1 real estate website in Miami. And during COVID, which was like the peak of the real estate market, 2020, 2021, even 22, my website was getting about 170,000 unique visitors per month.
Yeah, no, it's nuts.
Now it's back down to maybe around 70 or 80,000, but that's just because not as many eyeballs are on the Miami real estate market. I mean, it's dead.
Yeah.
I mean, the market's dead compared to
interest
what it
rates
was.
are crushing.
Interest rates are really high. People are just priced out. I mean, prices went up way too quickly, and
no, but it's. I mean, look, it's a testament to that organic traffic, man. I mean, you know, getting that many people a month, it's just a powerful tool.
Yeah.
I think it's super hard today, but you built that thing and you stayed with it.
2007, way back in the day.
That's what I'm saying. You built that thing a long time ago and you just stuck with it, and it's really materialized. I mean, the fortitude involved in staying alive, especially something like real estate and going through what you've gone through. Do you think like a lot of your kind of like that fortitude comes from your dedication to, you did, since I've known you, I mean, I've watched you go from like 130 pounds doing triathlons to,
More than 130
to bodybuilding competitions, man. Like, so, you are the kind of person that obviously does not quit, right?
Yeah.
Regardless, you make mistakes like everyone else, but you just keep getting up. It's like Stallone says, right? You keep getting punched, but get knocked down, but keep getting up, whatever.
Yeah.
That's you, right? I mean, does that discipline come from working out, or where does that come from?
I'd say I've always had good discipline, especially when I lived in Chicago. Like I said, I was working out 5 to 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Back then, I could go out and party till 4 a.m. and still make it to the gym in the morning because you're in your 20s. You know, you can bounce back quickly. Nowadays, I try to stay away from alcohol as much as possible because if I have alcohol, if I have a long night of drinking, not only can I not make it to the gym the next morning, I can't make it to the gym sometimes for 2 or 3 days.
Right.
And it's not even physically because I'm tired or anything. It's mentally.
No, your brain,
it really messes with you when you get older.
Oh yeah.
The alcohol. Yeah. It really it's a drain mentally. But to answer your question, I always like to say like the 2013, 2014 period when I started doing Ironman triathlons, that was really the boot camp of my life. If I were and I'm referring to like military boot camp. I've never been in the military, but people say like, oh yeah, you could take some, dropout high school student that's a big loser, put him in the military and he's going to come out shape, disciplined and, he's going to be on top. He's going to be a successful person because of the military. They really ingrained things in him. And so for me, getting to doing the Ironman triathlons was the boot camp of my life because it showed me, one of my favorite quotes is, what is it? A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, something like that.
That's
paraphrasing, something like that.
Yeah.
So it taught me, I'm like, when I was telling you earlier today, when I started doing the Ironman triathlons, I didn't even know how to swim in the beginning.
Yeah.
I had to get a swim coach because,
of course.
But the reason why I got into the Ironman triathlons, well, I started off with doing 5Ks. I'm like, okay, I'm going to challenge myself. I want to do a 5K. Did that. Piece of cake. Then I'm like, okay, now I need to do a 10K.
Yeah.
Did that. Check that off. Then I'm like, okay, half marathon. Check that off.
Yeah.
Okay, marathon. And after the marathon, I was kind of like, what do I do next? And then I was like, triathlons.
Some Goggin shit.
Like, I need to do triathlons. So then I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a 5K triathlon. But actually, before that, I did the 5K triathlon, but I'm like, okay, now I need to really swim because you could doggy paddle your way through a 5K triathlon. Yeah. But getting to the Olympic triathlons, you're like, okay, well, maybe now I need a coach.
It's time to bring in the big guns. Yeah.
So then I got a coach, learned to properly swim. It was never like swimming is definitely my weakest part of the swim, bike, and run.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, the biking part was where I really excelled.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I would be running, and actually I was a really good runner, but the biking, I killed it.
Wow.
And I remember I was dating a girl at the time, and she had previously dated a guy that had done cycling like all his life, and he was a killer cyclist. And so I ended up doing my first Ironman was Ironman Florida, the Florida Ironman in Panama City Beach. And my goal was to get under 5 hours on the bike. And she's like, "You're never going to do it." She's like, "My ex-boyfriend, that was his goal." And
he was great.
He was a lifetime cyclist, and he ended up getting like 5:05 or something like that.
Yeah.
Ended up doing it in 4:55. Wow. So I killed it. I mean, I was so strong on the bike, and I loved it. To be honest with you, I'd be out there on the bike doing bridge repeats like all day long.
Yeah.
I just loved it. I mean, like to me, it was like a drug. I mean, for real. Like they always talk about like that runner's high. I would get the same thing cycling.
Oh wow.
So anyway, so then there was a point where I think it was between doing my sprint and Olympic triathlon. I was reading a book about like the history of triathlons, and it started in like 1978. And like there was these 3 guys that were in a bar and they were drinking beer, and they were all trying to outdo each other and saying, you know what, cycling is much harder than running or swimming. Yeah. He's like, oh, no. Like, try swimming 3.1 miles. Try biking 112 miles. The other guy's like, no, try running a marathon. Yeah. Like, you know what? Let's put it all to the test. Let's do one huge competition. We'll all swim the 3.1 miles. Then we'll bike the 112 miles. And then we'll run a marathon afterwards. And they did it. And then I think they had another 4 or 5 people that were like, hey, we'll join you. We'll all do it.
No shit.
Yeah, and they did that. I believe it was in Hawaii. And this was back before anybody knew anything about nutrition.
Of course.
So fast forward until about like 1984. So there's about 6 years, 5-6 years under like 5 or 6 times where they had done these triathlons because they were doing them every year now. Yeah. In 1984, so I was reading this in a book about this girl that was going to UCal, University of California at Berkeley, and she wanted to do her thesis on like the breakdown of the physical body during exercise or something like that. She's like, I'm gonna enter this Ironman triathlon. So this was the first year that CBS, that one of these Ironman triathlons were ever televised.
Okay.
And I think it was CBS, or it was either ABC or CBS. They televised it, and for the women's, they would showcase the men and the women. And this girl that was a college student that was doing her thesis, she was in first place, and everyone's like, "Who is this girl?
Yeah.
We've never heard of her." She didn't know she didn't know how to I think she was a strong runner. Mm-hmm. But she wasn't a triathlete. She just literally entered herself into this to see how it would go. And she was in first place.
Wow.
But she didn't know anything about nutrition.
Yeah.
I mean, like, overall, nobody really knew anything about nutrition back then, about endurance, for endurance. So little by little, she was in first place by a lot. And like little by little, she's breaking down. So literally, at the very end of the competition, she's still in first place with like 100 yards to go. And she's crawling to the finish line. Her body's broken down.
Yeah.
And I was reading about this, and I'm like, I got to go on YouTube. I got to watch this. This girl's crawling. And at the last moment, right before she's about to cross the finish line, the second place woman beats her.
Fuck.
And they said, you know what? That's the only competition where nobody remembers who won that competition. They only remember, like,
the
girl that like was crawling.
The crawling girl. Yeah.
I forgot her name right now, but like,
damn.
But so after I read that, I'm like, I gotta watch this on YouTube, and I watched it. I'm like, I gotta do this. I gotta do Ironman. So
you went after it.
So
I remember those days.
I went after it. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those days, and you did it, and like I said, I mean that, I ain't got that in me. It's not for everybody. But there's like a dedication. There's this competitive nature, and there's this not giving up attitude that you have to have. That translates into other areas of your life.
I think for a while there was, so actually I was 34 years old when I entered that, when I applied or entered myself into this competition, because I wanted to give it to myself for my 35th birthday. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So I turned 34, and I said, you know what? The Ironman Florida is going to be, I think it was like November 2nd.
Yeah.
My birthday's on November 4th.
Okay.
Or maybe it was November 6th. And so I'm like, I'm going to be turning 35 like 2 days before the competition. I'm going to give this to myself for my 35th birthday.
Got it.
Well, I better start training soon. I procrastinated. I don't think I really focused and honed in on it until maybe 4 months out.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, this is do or die. I either need to
start fucking training,
get training and really dedicate myself to it and give up the drinking and all that stuff. And, so I did. And actually, I ended up doing 4 full Ironman triathlons in a 365-day period.
Wow.
I got addicted to them. I mean, I really did.
Yeah, but I think that's what happens with you, right? You get you just get locked in. You get addicted to this stuff.
Yeah, and even then, I'm like, you know what? I want to turn pro. And I kind of did the same thing with the whole bodybuilding competition. But then what happened, I got into my second lawsuit, and
it put a damper on your training.
Yeah, it put a damper on the whole training thing. Yeah. I'm like, I can't do it. Yeah. And I remember there was a time where I went out for a bike ride, took a big loop, came back, and actually I rented an Airbnb in another city. Came back from the bike ride. I did just one loop, and I'm like, I don't have it in me anymore. Like it's not in my heart anymore. Like I was more focused on relaunching the website, which I did in January 2015.
Yeah.
So the love for my website and building that became forefront rather than the Ironman.
This is a trend with you.
It is.
Yeah. No, but I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just, you know when to stop.
True.
Which is great. You can just keep going. And if it's things that destroy your body or if it's just, you have to focus more on work, whatever the reason is, you do have to know when to, transition or pivot or go back to what's, paying the bills.
Yeah.
When to stop, which is another skill that's invaluable.
So here's another good story, a good lesson for your audience is that, so that second lawsuit, I remember back then I didn't have a team. I was just thinking about building the second iteration of my website. Mm-hmm. So, and then I ended up getting this lawsuit. And back then though, before the lawsuit, my nut, basically what I had to make every month was about $10,000 per month. And that would pay for my housing, my business expenses. Because back then, $10,000, I would love to get by $10,000 per month now. But so back then, that's all I needed to make every month to break even And so I had
Yeah.
very little overhead. I
Yeah.
didn't have an office. I didn't have admin. I didn't have a team. I
Right.
didn't have anything.
Simple.
Yeah, it was very simple. And then I had the lawsuit. And I talked to my attorney. He's like, I need a $20,000 retainer, and this is going to end up costing you $20,000 per month. And I'm like, holy shit, man. I'm only making $10,000 per month. Like, what am I going to do? But I had to do it. So the learning lesson from this is that by the end, the lawsuit ended up taking, I think it was about 8 or 9 months. I consistently made that extra $20,000 every single month and then some. So it taught me you do have it in you to make that extra $20,000 per month when you need to.
Wow.
So why do you need like a lawsuit to keep that going?
Okay.
So once the lawsuit was over, I kept it going. I started my team.
Yeah.
And then the team allowed me to make even more money.
Yeah.
And so
Well, what do you think that kick in the, what was that? What was the, was it a switch?
I
What was
barely,
it?
I barely slept. I was like living on 4 hours of sleep that year.
Yeah.
I was, it was out of necessity. I mean, it was either I lose this lawsuit or
Or you figured
I
it out.
work, I
You
figure it
you
out.
figured
And, and so like I was answering my own phones. Like I said, I didn't have an admin to answer phones or
Yeah.
do emails.
Yeah.
So from like 8 o'clock in the morning until probably 8 or 9 at night, I was working on my real estate business.
Yeah.
And then from probably like 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., I was working on the lawsuit with my attorney and emailing him documents or doing research or whatever it might be. And then the rest of the night, I was working on my new website.
Yeah.
So that year, like I said, it was a lost year. I don't have many social media photos of myself because I
Yeah.
really didn't enjoy life that year.
Yeah.
But it was a sacrifice.
Yeah.
But because I sacrificed that 1 year, I'm able to live comfortably for
Yeah.
the last 10 plus years.
Yeah. That's almost, I mean, it's like 8 years into when you started, right? So
Yeah.
you,
Oh,
up until
exactly.
that point, you're still kind of grinding and
Yeah.
grinding. 8 years in.
Yeah.
You know, you're trying to figure out how to eat.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
But I remember complaining to my broker, my current broker. I'm still with her. I'm like, man, I'm getting so many leads. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And she's like, you need to build a team.
You need to build a team.
So I
Of
did.
course.
I ended up building a team,
Yeah.
and that's when I finally was like,
Well, this is a hard place for a lot of people in business when I think being able to delegate becomes the skill that you really need to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're an entrepreneur or you're type A, which most successful people are, they like things done a certain way.
No.
And they have a very hard time believing that anyone can do it the way in their likeness, which is true. No one really can.
Yeah.
But when you finally learn how to accept, you have to bring your standard down a little bit. It just has to happen in order to start delegating, and then you grow.
and it's not only the expertise behind it; it's the passion.
It's the passion. I mean, but you cannot.
But
you're only
at
one,
some point you need to delegate.
You're only one person.
Yeah.
And no matter how well you do that thing, if you want to make money, you want to grow, you're gonna have to let it. You got to let it go.
Yeah.
And I think that's where so many people get stuck. Like you could have died right there. It would have been it.
Yeah.
You know, because you can only do so much. It doesn't matter how good you are. It's only so much you can do. You got all these leads coming in. You can't handle. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You made the move, and it changed everything.
Yeah.
So
And then so the website, I came out with a new iteration.
yeah.
It's funny because people sometimes get locked in old ways. And when I came out with the new website, for the first week, everyone's like, give us back the old website. This
course.
website sucks.
Yeah, of course.
And then after about a week, they're like, holy shit, this website's awesome.
You know, right?
It was so much more user-friendly, like 100 times better than the old
Yeah,
website. But
yeah.
they were complaining like, oh, we want the old
Well,
back.
sure. People
Yeah.
are not. They don't want change.
So, but after a while, people were like, man, this website's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's still, I just relaunched a new iteration. So this is the third iteration. I mean, really, I'd say I built it from scratch 3 different times.
Wow.
But there's been updates along the way. I try to update every year. But
Sure.
big updates, I'd say there's been 3 iterations of the website. So I just launched the third one maybe a few years ago. So from 2015 to the beginning of this year, that second iteration of the website
Yeah.
lasted for 10 years. And people
Yeah.
were still at the very end of it. They're like, why are you changing it again?
Yeah.
It's still super user
You
friendly.
do have to. I mean, regardless, you have to kind of change things at the time.
And not only that, but
UX
it's-
changes. So I mean,
Yeah, but it's also the back end. You know,
and the back end, of course.
It's
of
running
course.
slow,
Of course.
whatnot.
Yeah.
So we relaunched it. I'm coming out with a mobile app, which hopefully will be even another big
Absolutely.
lead generator.
Yeah.
And it kind of ties into the website, like all the listings and stuff they're shown on the mobile app and on the website.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's the goal, is to just keep getting more leads, grow the team. And then I mentioned this other revenue stream that is going to be generated from the mobile app and from the website as well that I'm going to be launching later this year.
Amazing.
And yeah.
Let's talk about the bodybuilding. So, I mean, since I've known you, well, we've both always been into fitness. We've worked out a lot together over the years, but you kind of really always were very interested in bodybuilding. And then has it been maybe since like, I don't know, 2018-ish, you kind of really went hard?
Well, I mean,
there's
no coincidence to that, you know. So like, so that was the year, like August 2018, I believe it was around that I got on TRT, and I was really big into going to the gym, like in my 20s, early 30s, and I remember I was dating this girl at the time in 2018, beginning of 2018, and I was just like up and down, and she's like, maybe go see a doctor, I don't know. Go see a psychologist, I don't know, because like, why you're having all these ups and downs. And I started doing research on my own, and I started reading about testosterone. I'm like, maybe my testosterone levels are low. And so she kind of had a medical background, and she was like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm behind this. Like, this makes sense. Like, everything that you're suffering, testosterone, from my research, her research, she's like, this could be the cure, or this could help things, So I ended up going to a doctor, and the doctor's like, wow, like, yeah, your test levels are super low. Like, they're that of somebody in their 70s. I'm like, 70s? Wow. Yeah. So I ended up getting on TRT, and I remember he told me it's going to take about 2 weeks to kick in. I think around the 10th day, where I was driving my car, and all of a sudden, like, I felt like my eyes open, like, I'm like, wow, this is how the other half of the world lives. I'm like, just like this level of confidence, and I don't know, I just like lack of brain fog anymore. It just really opened things up, and I loved it. Kind of similar to that movie with what's his name, Bradley Cooper in Limitless, where he takes that pill and his eyes open up, and he's like, wow, he's like so much more focused. And
then you got in the gym, you're
efficient.
like, oh shit.
And then I started hitting the gym. But here's the thing: is sometimes I tell people that I'm on TRT now, and they're like, oh, no wonder why you're in such killer shape. But it's not a magic pill. So I was on TRT in 2018, but I still wasn't hitting the gym like I am now. I mean, I wasn't really hitting it hard. I mean, I've always hit the gym hard, but it wasn't. And not only that, but also the diet was lacking back then. Right. I mean, I've really when you compare what I eat now to what my diet was back in 2018, I mean, no wonder why I wasn't seeing the results. But back to TRT, again, there's people, especially on social media, they're like, oh, you're on TRT, no wonder why you have a killer physique. But I'm like, you go on TRT, and I bet you're not going to see the same results, because it really takes a lot of discipline with diet and with working out. I was telling you earlier today, the whole point of TRT is to get your test levels back to somebody in their late 20s or early 30s. So my levels were that of somebody in their 70s. So my doctor's like, I'm going to get you back to like how you felt when you're 30. But how many people that are 30 or in their late 20s are obese or like out of shape? A lot. Like there's a huge epidemic in America with overeating and people being out of shape, and so again, if the whole point of it is to get your test levels to that of somebody in their 20s, that's not going to get you in shape. Just to test.
No, of course not. Of course not. No, there's no magic to it. I mean, but so and then you took it to the next level, though. I mean,
then after that, well, there was a few things that happened. So I ended up getting out of that relationship, and by the end of that year, so that happened December of 2018, and January 2019. I'm like, I want to completely turn around my life. So it wasn't only the drinking that I completely eliminated. Like 2019, I think there was about like 9 months where I completely stopped drinking.
Was that the year that you did all that travel?
Yes.
You went on this, you just went like, you were always calling us like, where should I go? Where should I go?
But it was the end of that year. So what I did in the beginning of 2019, I'm like, okay, what do I need to do to really turn around my life? Not business wise, but like just everything. I'm like, I want to set down some goals, and I want to adhere to them. So one of them is like, I don't want to date any girls anymore. Like I want to just stay single, focus on myself, focus on business, focus on making money, going to church. So that was a big thing. That was the first time.
Stencil's a big church guy.
I saw part of that podcast. And we'll get into that in a bit too, because honestly, there's a lot to say about
what am I missing here, guys?
You got to start going to church?
I used to 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, no, and I went to a Catholic high school, but
Yeah, we all did.
and there was a point, like in 2019, where I was going to church, like religiously.
Yeah.
And that year, I'd like to say that 2019 was one of the best years of my life because I made a lot of changes in my life.
Yeah.
And I formed a lot of new habits.
Yeah.
One of them was going to church, going to the gym 5 to 6 times a week,
Yeah.
eating super healthy,
Yeah.
eliminating alcohol.
Yeah.
So, like I said, there was like 9 months where I didn't have alcohol.
Yeah.
I wasn't dating, so I really focused on myself. So, I know we've had past conversations where you had said, you know, is it a coincidence that you got on TRT and all of a sudden your business blew up? I'm like, that was part of it, but I also eliminated alcohol.
Well, yeah.
I also stopped dating.
Yeah.
I also stopped. I started going to church.
Yeah.
You know, like so. There's a lot of things, and I've always felt that fitness was my. I don't want to say the word crutch, but it was like. It was something that helped me when I was stressed and, you know, maybe in a funk. It got me out of those funks. Like, it was always something that I could lean on to make me feel better because of the serotonin and dopamine or whatever, you know, those hits.
Of course.
But I've now discovered, and another reason why I like fitness so much is because it gives you what you put in. Whereas, you know, with fitness, if you hit the gym 5, 6 days a week and you're eating healthy and all that, you're going to see results.
You will.
That's not necessarily what happens with business.
It's very different than business.
It's very different.
It's
So-
way more calculated. It's
Yes.
like, this works.
Yeah,
Just do
and,
this.
And that's what I loved about fitness is like you put in the work, you're going to see results.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know,
That's very true.
Minus any injuries or anything like that. But
course.
if you put in the work, minus injuries, you know, you eat healthy, you're going to see it. You're going to see results. But with business, you can put in 6 months straight of work and deal after deal fall through,
Yeah,
and,
you could just
you're
be
like,
losing,
man,
losing.
throw
Yeah.
your hands up in the air, and
Yeah.
like, well, what am I doing? Why am I wasting
When's it
my
going to
time?
happen? I know.
So
that's true.
I've always attached myself to fitness so much because I needed that. I needed, like, life is difficult. There's always going to be setbacks, and
Sure.
you could do everything right, but there's still going to be setbacks.
Always.
Whereas with fitness, you don't have that problem. You know, so it's like something where I'm like, you know what? That's one thing in my life that I could really focus on.
Yeah.
I could really hit hard, and I'm going to see results.
Yeah.
You know, you get out what you put in. But I've now discovered, and I discovered in 2019, is you could also find that with church as well.
Interesting.
You know, with God. So the more you put in, and again, it's kind of similar to business where you might have this good relationship with God, and you might be praying for success in business, or you know, you want to buy this new condo or whatever it might be. And God may not deliver what you want, but it's not what you want, it's what you need.
Right.
And that's what I'm learning now. So the reason why I stopped going to church in 2019, so there was like probably a 6-month period where I'm like, man, I'm seeing results. I feel great on Sundays. Like I loved it. I really did. I felt that comfort or that benefit from church that I was getting from the gym. So I'm like, now I'm getting to it. You know, I'm getting that benefit from the gym, but now I'm seeing it at church as well. And I remember I was about to get a $6 million deal. And I was like, this is great. You know, like I'd been showing this couple this property a bunch of times. I was praying over it. I'm like, man, I really need this deal, you know?
Yeah.
And I prayed on it. And then while I was in church, I got a text from that couple saying, sorry, but, you know, my brother-in-law thinks we should invest in Miami. So sorry to waste your time, but we're not going to buy the condo.
Yeah.
And I cursed God.
God.
Yeah, I'm in church.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm here in your house, and you're going to send me this text now?
Yeah.
That was the last time that year I went to church, to be honest with you. And it's so stupid. But
It was impressionable.
so that's what happened. And so I had a lot of angst against God, and I stopped going to church that year. I did continue not drinking, and I continued not dating. And so there were still a lot of benefits in my life. And I think it was maybe around August of that year, maybe July, where I did finally start dating and did have that first sip of alcohol with a girl. And I felt like I still rode the wave, and, you know, like overall that year was good, but reintroducing those bad habits, I kind of wished, I'm like, what if I stopped completely not drinking and going to church and not dating for a while until I really, really established myself. I was telling you yesterday that there's an influencer from Miami. His name is Ashton Hall. and he was on this podcast with what's his name, Aiden Ross.
Yeah.
Or Aiden Ross, sorry. And he asked him, he's like, oh, so do you have a girlfriend? You know, who's your girlfriend? Tell me about who you're dating. So I haven't had a girlfriend since high school. And this guy's 30 years old.
Yeah.
Very successful. And I'm like, man, I joked around with you yesterday. Like, you know how rich I would be if I didn't have a girlfriend since high school? The amount of money that we waste on dating, especially in Miami. I mean, it's all about
I can only imagine
who to impress and what you have. I mean, it's just such a waste.
I think there's a lot of areas that you could tighten up, you know, not you, but people. I mean, that you know, just depends what your goals are. But it's hard, man. It's hard. It's hard to stay focused.
For sure.
Life's full of temptations, and you know, life's amazing. You know, and as you start making money, you can really get yourself into trouble quickly.
Yeah.
And again, that's just, and it happens to everyone. And you know, guys our age, you know, you've kind of you've rode that wave, and you've had ups and downs and peaks and valleys, and you kind of learn eventually that you can kind of handle anything.
Yeah.
It takes time. You don't have that in your 20s. Maybe some people do, but I mean, I don't think any of us did.
I've had that roller coaster and the ups and downs so many times now that when
you're like almost looking forward to this shit. Like bring this roll, you know, bring this ride on.
I'm like, everything's gonna be fine.
That's what I was telling you. You know, we're talking about some stuff, and I'm like, you know, whatever you're going through now, you know, that'll pass.
So about a year ago, I reestablished my faith and my relationship with God, and a lot of that had to do with this girl I'm dating now. I started dating her a little over, I think maybe about 15 months ago, and she has a really good relationship with God. And she wanted to start going to church. She's like, hey, do you want to go to church? I'm like, you know what? I used to go to church and I really enjoyed it until I cursed him out. Hopefully he's forgiven me. And so we started going to church together.
He's very forgiving.
He is, thank God. And so we started going to church together. And I think there was like a 3 or 4 month period where we went every Sunday.
Yeah.
And I remember just feeling really good.
Yeah, like I'm sure, yeah.
And there was a lot of setbacks or a lot of things I could have been stressed about during that time period where I didn't.
Yeah.
And I really do attribute it to going to church and having the faith and just knowing that whatever is causing the anxiety is going to be fine. But there have been pockets here and there because of travel or whatnot, or focusing on work, or maybe she's working on a Sunday that we didn't go to church for maybe a month. And I'm like, I can feel the difference. Yeah. It's huge. It really, I think,
you know, it's we'll call it spirituality because, you know, you could do it any way you want to do it, but I think it's a component of, you know, a successful mix of a person that has to be, you have to go through it and find it. You know, there's other things sometimes that people put in place first, and, you know, it's different in everyone's mix. Like for me, it's still working on that aspect, you know, it's not 100% together. For me, it's not going to church, but there's other ways to express it. It's so important though. It's part of the mix. It is really part of the mix.
Yeah. Whether you have faith in a higher being, and just having faith at all, you know, that everything's going to be okay, that there is, you know, spirituality or whatever, something that's, that has your back, you know, that's like everything's going to be okay. So,
no,
it's really important.
It's really important. So you were starting to compete in bodybuilding.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we'll just talk about that for a minute. You're going at it. I went to one of your competitions.
Yep.
And now, you know, after, you know, a little while, you're just kind of like, don't really want to go for that.
So I did a competition last November, which you were at, and you know, I was proud of myself. But I was telling you earlier today, I really, at the moment, didn't give myself a lot of credit, because when you're in that environment and you're surrounded by other people that are competing, same thing happened with me with Ironman triathlons.
Yeah.
All my friends were Ironman triathletes, or at the very least, they were triathletes. So I was surrounded by that. Like everybody on my team or like my friends were Ironman triathletes. So I was just like, everybody's doing it. And then when I competed last November, I'm in a gym where there's a lot of competitors. Yeah. And not only that, but I created a different social media account just for fitness. So, and I really, I'd say 90% of my time last year was on that.
It's consuming you. I mean, it was really like taking time off of your business. Yeah, which you had the freedom to do,
but my whole point is I was surrounded by, not only when I go to the gym, by these monsters, these huge, really great shaped people, but I was also opening up social media where all like 90% of my
everyone's
content,
better than you. On
everybody
was
better. These are professionals. These are Olympians.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm just like everybody else. You know, like. It actually took me this year, where I've been more on my like business Instagram account or my personal, or sometimes I'll go back to my fitness Instagram account and be like, man, I was fucking huge.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't I give myself enough credit back then?
Yeah.
It's like, no wonder. Like, you were surrounded, like all you thought that existed are people that were similar in size as you. But in reality, you go out and about, it's like...
Well, this is we were saying this. I mean, this is most guys that have been working out have body dysmorphia. Let's face it. I mean, I think we all do. Like, we never, like, you know, I was telling you, like, you know, I won't, like, I think I need to be in, like, competition shape to, like, go to a pool.
Way, yeah.
You know, I you know, that's not how I make my living. I was saying, you know, it's, you don't need to feel like that. But it plays with your head. You know, and I'm sure you've gone through that.
And I'm 46 years old, so I'm
Right.
looking.
You're an
the
old
guys
man.
I'm comparing.
You're an
to
old
myself
man in
with,
this game, bro. Yeah.
I am, but like
I
the
get
guys
it.
in my gym, what I forget sometimes is they're like 10, 20 years younger than me.
Of course,
sometimes.
it's a young man's game, man.
So
You gotta.
I'm really hard on myself sometimes. I'm like, man, I'm 46 years old. I really don't give.
You
got
got to start comparing yourself to the 50-year-olds, and then you start feeling real good.
At least the 40-year-olds. Yeah.
Well, you got them blown out of the water. No, I mean, look, but yeah, it's a real thing.
Well, vice versa. I have the 50-year-olds blown out of the water.
I think you got the 40-year-olds. Yeah, but I mean, I get it, man, and I think also like you know, health first. You know, like it's hard on the body. It's a lot. You know, it's not necessarily the healthiest sport when you really are competing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's based on it's like a health thing, right? To look great and do all this muscle work, but there's a lot more that goes into it, and you know.
Well, to answer your question, I think where you're going with this is, why did I end up having a change of heart with competing?
Yeah, at the end of the day, why did you just say?
So I ended up competing last November, and I had surgery for a hernia, so I ended up getting that out of the way. And then probably around July of this year, no, what are we? We're in July, so maybe around May of this year, I started getting that passion again for, I'm like, I want to compete, you know? So I got in my head, I'm going to compete again, and I got on a cycle maybe about a month ago, maybe 4 to 6 weeks ago. Got on a new cycle, felt like crap. I was on the TRT, but you know, higher dosage of testosterone. Got on micro dosage of tren, 30 milligrams a week, and Primo. I was doing the Tren was 30 milligrams every other day, and the Primo was 170 milligrams every other day, and the test 100 milligrams every other day. Yeah. The Tren, man, it's powerful. It's a great steroid to get you bigger. Yeah. It really blows you up and it hardens you and everything. It
makes you a little bit crazy though.
Yeah, it makes you crazy. Yeah. It makes you really impatient. So I'd be, stuck in traffic. Somebody's on their phone when the light turns green. Yeah. I'm slamming on my horn, cursing at them.
Doesn't it make your muscles like fucking rocks though? Yeah, dude. It makes you like a stone. Like,
I mean, you look really hard. Yeah. You look amazing. And actually, you know what? I was only on the cycle maybe 2 to 2.5 weeks, and that's when I started noticing some difference. I mean, I still wasn't. It probably takes about a full 4 weeks to really start noticing. Yeah. But I started noticing the impatience coming back. And my girlfriend actually made a comment about it, and I was like, you know what? It's not worth it. Like, I don't want to become that person. Like, I don't want to put her through something. Like, I'm not a professional bodybuilder. I'm not making money from it.
That's what I said. If you're not making, it's not paying the bills, man. No. It's an interest, it's a passion, it's a hobby. But
like my goal was to get a pro card and then just be done with it.
Yeah,
like, that
just
was the
to
goal.
Get it, and
because it was something that I felt I should have done in my 20s.
Right. You're chasing that. Yeah.
I had a great physique, but I was also partying a lot.
Yeah.
And so I think in the back of my mind, and actually probably 2018, 2019, I started having this voice in my head. It's like, you could have been great if you would have competed in your 20s or 30s.
Yeah. See, that voice is a problem though.
Well, I don't know if it is.
The could have shit is a problem.
But the thing is, that voice is only going to get louder in your 50s and 60s. So now now that voice, I tried it. Now I have.
You have to have a rapport with that voice though, where you're telling it like, all right, chill out, dude. Like, this is the best I can do. Like, look, if you were partying that, you could accept that and be like, I did do that. Maybe I could have been better, but guess what? I'm focused now. I'm aware. I'm an aware person now. Like, I can make better decisions.
Well, the way I looked at it was like, okay, you're not 60 years old. You're still at the time, around COVID, around 2020. I was like
early 40s,
40, 41.
Yeah.
Yeah, before COVID.
Yeah.
I was, this was like 2019.
Oh, you're a spring chicken
I was like
at 40
years
yeah.
old.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you're not 60, you're 40, you can still compete.
Yeah.
Just get it out of the way. Like
Yeah.
that way you're not
Yeah.
hearing the voice when you're
Yeah.
in your 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
So I decided around 2019, that was kind of like my test run. I'm like, you know what? That's when I was going to church and I was doing everything right. I'm like, I'm going to get in the best bodybuilding shape of my life. I remember that was one of my goals. And I did this vision board. It was actually not a physical vision board that you put on your wall. I did a digital vision board. So it was on Instagram stories. Every day I would post a new vision. Like, I want to get in the best bodybuilding shape of my life was one of the visions.
Yeah, I saw this.
Another vision was like, I want to go to London, just all these different goals.
You did them all.
Yeah,
You
and
did
I did
them
a
all.
lot of them. I did a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so that was kind of my test run in the back of my mind. I'm going to get in the best bodybuilding shape of my life. And if I can do that, then maybe next year I'm going to compete. So that was the goal. And then, so beginning of 2020, I'm like, this is the year. I had an injury at the end of 2019. Beginning of 2020, I worked through that injury. I was feeling great again. I'm like, I'm going to compete this year. And then COVID happened. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do it because all the gyms are closed. So that set me back. And then 2021, the real estate market in Miami exploded, all over the nation.
Yeah.
Just everywhere.
It went crazy.
2022 was super busy as well.
Yeah.
So that was, again, on the back burner. 2023, still somewhat busy. 2024, all of a sudden it was dead. I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it now.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm the type of person, I need to stay busy.
Yeah.
Or else I go crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, business is dead. If you're going to really
Now's the time.
focus and do a competition, because
Yeah.
like you're all in.
Yeah.
Do it now because you have the time. So
Yeah.
I did it now. I did it in 2024, and that was the whole goal with that. And then 2025, the real estate market's still dead. So I'm like, why not do another competition? But again, at the end of the day, with all those drugs, it's not worth it.
Back to work, brother.
Yeah, back to work.
It's all good.
I'm focusing on the mobile app, and that was another thing. Is my mobile app developers were like, hey, like we're about a month away from launching.
Yeah.
This has been a 4.5-year project.
Yeah.
I launched it. Actually, I contacted my mobile app developers in, January of 2021. And I said, I want to do this mobile app. They told me at the time, okay. I'm like, how long do you think it'll be? He's like, a year. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
10 years later.
A year, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
If they had told me 4.5 years in the beginning, I would be like, forget it.
No, it would never
There's
happen.
no way I'm doing it.
No.
There's no way.
It's a good thing they didn't.
I'm glad I did.
Yeah. Well, it's coming out, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, and I think you've touched on these, but I want you to refine it more.
Mm-hmm.
Ask a couple of questions I always ask everyone. If you had to say what the one habit that you've implemented that's revolutionized everything for you, what would it be?
I'd say stick to the basics. Simple isn't sexy, but simple can be profound and transformative as long as it's combined with discipline and consistency.
Yeah.
And that's what's really important, because I think, like, especially with this whole social media age, everybody wants to do everything flashy.
Yeah.
Stick to the basics.
So you just apply that in every bucket of your life, just like.
And those small steps add up. Again, back to my favorite quote. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.
That's right.
And you lay those bricks, and it becomes a castle.
Just
one day.
start.
Yeah, you just start.
Yeah.
And start small sometimes.
Sure.
Again, I now have the biggest website for Miami real estate, but that started as a free blog where I literally was broke back then, but I had knowledge and I was a good writer. And I guess another piece of advice is stick to what you're good at. Like
At the end of the day, yeah.
You really need to evaluate what you're good at. And I knew going in, I'm not the best salesman, but I am a good marketer, and that's what I enjoy.
I'm a huge and I'm a firm believer in exploit the strengths, right? Mm-hmm. Only if you think about bodybuilding, I was telling you earlier, like that's something where you want to work on your weaknesses, right?
For sure.
But in business,
there's symmetry.
Yeah, right. But in business or in most parts of life, just stay with the strengths. Stay
and
with
you
what
can
you're
delegate
good at
weaknesses.
and pass off the fucking shit that you can't do well.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that, man. What is a non-negotiable for you every day?
I don't want to exaggerate and say every day, but if I had a perfect day, Oh, working out for sure.
Working out.
That's
yeah.
a non-negotiable.
Yeah, you're pretty close to every day.
But I can't say
Something.
every week even is like that. I mean,
Yeah.
there's, we all go through funks and
Yeah.
sometimes, or the alcohol. Something like I said, like I'm getting to that age where if I go out with my friends or go out with my girlfriend, we end up having too many drinks. And when I was in my 20s, I can wake up the next morning, hit the gym, no problem. But now sometimes it takes 2 or 3 days because it's just mentally,
Yeah.
I don't have that motivation anymore
Yeah.
because of the alcohol. So ideally, I mean, going forward, I really, really either want to eliminate or limit the alcohol, maybe to like 1 time a month.
Yeah.
Because it's just not worth it.
I've really pared it down. I was a big
Yeah.
wine drinker, and I still do have some occasionally, but it's very minimal. Mm-hmm. It's very minimal, and it's a big deal. It's a big.
So what's your non-negotiable?
My non-negotiable?
Mm-hmm.
That's a great question. It's a really good question. I don't know
Stumped you, huh?
yeah. Sometimes people turn it around and ask me. My non-negotiable every day is more waking up with a sense of gratitude, right? And just kind of taking a second, because hardest thing for me is staying focused, right? And staying in the lane. I like to just, if I don't pull myself in, I'm gone. So when I start my days, and this has been for many years, I have that little gracious moment where, because my life's amazing, right? I got great life, great lifestyle, amazing wife. So that little gratitude moment every day, dude, you got it made. Just fucking appreciate everything. Don't complain. That little gratitude moment. That's what I try to do every day. I'm pretty consistent with that. I think it's important.
That's great.
So yeah.
You
got me in a hot seat now, man.
So a non-negotiable, maybe not daily, but weekly for me, and this sets up my week, is I take my Sundays. Not only do I go to church most Sundays, not every Sunday, but I do my best. And this is like a perfect week, is I set up the rest of my week by meal prepping.
Yeah.
For me, if I don't meal prep that week, it sets me up for failure.
Sure. Yeah, you got to have that discipline.
You have to. Yeah. So whatever, I'll sacrifice. So my Sunday is a day of sacrifice. I sacrifice that day for God.
Yeah.
I sacrifice it for meal prep. So I'm in the kitchen meal prepping for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
So that I have all my meals. And when I have all those meals prepared and in my fridge, I'm going to eat how I should be eating.
Yeah.
I'm either going to be, depending on my goals, I'm either going to be in a bulk phase or a maintenance phase or cutting phase or whatever. But I'm going to be eating how I should be, which makes me feel better mentally and physically, and feel better about myself and sleeping better even.
I think people don't realize how much work. And look, I don't think life was this much work years ago. I think it's way harder now. We're in a way different world.
Oh, yeah.
The amount of shit that we all do just to show up. Because we're getting pounded, whether we're getting pounded by toxins or shit food or social media or whatever, EMFs, and it's nonstop, right? You're just getting pounded. Yep. The amount of effort you have to put into just functioning today is, we spend all our money and time working on health and working on focusing and working on meal prepping and working on all this shit that's going to allow us to just perform at this level that's never been heard of before, right? We were supposed to be just people that lived in a community, ate simple food and everyone hung out and there was no stress, and maybe that exists on islands and shit in the middle of nowhere, but like if you want to cut through or you want to do anything, it's what's required. I got a couple more for you.
Okay.
How's your relationship with failure?
Honestly, because of my relationship with fitness, it's taught me I have a really good relationship with failure.
I figured you'd say that. Yeah,
it sets me up for. I know through failure there's growth.
Yeah,
and
only growth.
Yeah, and that's the greatest amount of the growth that you'll see is through failure. And I've had so many setbacks that I look back on it, and I'm like, if it weren't for that failure, I wouldn't have this now. If I didn't have that lawsuit with that developer, my website wouldn't have blown up. If I didn't have that second lawsuit with this ex-business partner, the second lawsuit, I wouldn't have had that mentality. I have it in me to make X amount of money, or it's infinite. Yeah, it's what I put in. And you just need to look at failure as like you need to welcome failure almost.
100%. 100%. Love it. Yeah. Last one for you, brother. Give me a book that every dude that anyone should read. Okay, well, business side, man.
It's the book that I have in my backpack. Now I'm trying to think what the title of it is. Shit, I can't remember the name of it.
No problem.
But anyway, man, that's a tough one. I know I'm going to leave this podcast and be like, man, how can you not?
You'll remember it after.
Yeah.
Give me something.
I'm stumped.
You're stumped on a book?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh my God.
The shit, what's the book I have in my backpack? And the thing is, I bought that book at least 2 or 3 times because there's different editions and they always update it.
Yeah.
But it's a marketing book. And,
It's a marketing book.
And maybe I'll give you the title later and you could throw it up there in the caption or something. Okay. But it's a marketing
This
and
is
PR
the best
book.
answer ever.
It's a marketing and PR book. And to be honest with you, I read it probably at an airport, or I got it at an airport like maybe around 2010, 2012.
Oh, wow. It's old.
When I was, yeah.
Is it still relevant?
Oh, yeah.
With the
No,
way
and like I said, they had different updates.
Okay.
And so I just
Okay.
recently repurchased it again because they came out with a new edition that includes stuff about podcasts and stuff.
Okay,
So like
cool.
when there's new technology,
I
they
probably
throw it in
should.
there.
I probably should read it.
It's a great book. I'll show it to you afterwards. But it's like a PR and marketing book, and really gave me a lot of ideas about different avenues of touching a different audience. You
Got
know,
it.
Social media,
Cool.
websites, blogging, podcasts. I mean,
Yeah.
back then, I originally read it when I was getting into blogging, and I was just like, you know what? I want to know everything that there is to know about blogging. As far as, man, there's got to be other books. I'm like,
Fair enough. We'll post it at some point. Okay. Dude, it's been great having you.
thank you. It's been a pleasure.
I slaughtered a whole herd of cattle at my house so that you could eat it tonight.
I'm looking forward to that.
Just kidding. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, your Instagram handles, how they get in touch with you?
On Instagram, my personal account's at Miami Lucas, and for business, it's at Miami Condo Investments.
And if they want to see your fitness shots?
Fitness shots. So I documented my journey for fitness at miamilucas.fitness on Instagram. And yeah, you'll see videos, pictures, reels, all that stuff. So
Thank you again, brother.
thank you.
That's a wrap, guys. Lucas Lechuga, one of my best friends, and he's a baller. Thanks, brother.
Thank you, brother, for having me.
Anytime.
Cheers.